Come with us on a journey into the unknown, the unexplained, and the unbelievable. We will test your senses and challenge your beliefs. A world where science and religion clash. Or do they? You will meet real people and hear real stories, but you will not believe. You will witness strange sights and hear strange sounds, but you will not believe. This is the New England Ghost Project. Welcome to the nightmare.
Buenos dias, everyone, and welcome to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition, right here on the net, New England Talks. I am Ron Kolek, your host, New England's own Van Helsing.
That's right.
So with me,
come into the Spanish-dominant building, and you're speaking Spanish now?
a professor. I've always had a little, poquito.
A poquito.
Yeah, but not
I
too
have
good.
picked up an amazingly little amount of Spanish.
I can't
Working
believe
here
it.
for the decades I've worked here.
I'm such a curious person. I like to know some things. So Spanish is one of them. When I worked at Macy's, I picked up a little bit, and it was always intriguing. But I had one of my phrases I always used, of course, at Macy's, and it always got me a good reaction, of course, was, caliente, mamacita.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. But
Even I know that one.
Yeah, and the McDonald's cup, though, says, ay caliente.
It's hot. Well, they got sued, so I want to make sure you know.
Precaution, ay caliente. But I always said caliente. I didn't say ay caliente. So I was curious. So I asked a lovely little girl who is...
Alex.
Can I say that? Lovely little girl?
Sure.
Probably in trouble for that
Well,
already.
yeah. She's not exactly a little girl, but yeah,
Hey, compared to me, everybody's a little girl.
there's that, yeah.
You know? I mean, that's the way it is.
I hope you didn't give Alex a rough time. She's had a rough morning, so.
No, I like her.
Okay.
Yeah, she was fine. I thanked her and everything.
Yeah.
I'm a smooth talker, you know.
Oh, I know.
Oh, when I want to be.
I know. I see all the women hanging around here.
Yeah. I was going to say something. What the hell was I going to say? Oh, paranormal activity in the Love Shack.
What happened?
This is intriguing, even for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, get up in the middle of the night to do a thing or two,
Sure.
and step in a puddle of water.
Uh-oh.
I said, what the hell is this?
That's not paranormal in like a 200-year-old house.
Well, let me explain. First of
Yeah.
all, it's not 200 years
I know.
old. I wish it was 200 years old.
It was
So,
exaggeration.
I don't
for
know what the hell.
emphasis.
So
Yeah.
I looked at it and found couldn't find out where the hell it was leaking from or everything, right? So that day, next day, I get up in the morning, nothing, and Jan gets up and she says, "There's some water in the middle of the floor here." So I went and I looked. Now, you got to understand, I totally rehabbed the bathroom. Totally.
Yeah.
Stripped it down to the studs.
Yeah, you've been all over the place.
Redid it. I know every inch of that bathroom, and I've redone everything. So
And there's no reason water should be there.
I looked.
Yeah.
I went downstairs, looked up in the pipes, checked all that up. Went up in the roof, checked the roof. All right. I couldn't find any source of water. So next day, now it's 2 days in a row. Next day, I take my shower. Right. Take a shower, get out, dry myself. Okay, cool. Put away the bath mat, everything. So about an hour later, Jan
Wait a
goes,
second. You put away the bath mat?
yeah, we have.
So you take a bath mat out for the shower and then put it away after the shower?
Yeah, it's a cloth one. You step out of the
Sure.
thing, you're not on a cold floor, you're on a bath mat.
Yeah.
It's a cloth one. We you shove it in the washing machine. And everything. But there's we have shower doors, so
Yep.
it has a little rail on it, so it hangs over the rail, and you
Yep.
just take that down when you thing, and you shove it up there, and it dries too at the same time. So
For me, in between washings, it's on the floor all the time.
no, we don't keep it on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah. Gets dirty because you work on it if you have,
Yeah.
if you have guests that wear shoes or whatever. But anyway,
Yep.
we always pick it up after every shower. We hang it up, and it dries as well. So yeah. 'Cause
Fair
you,
enough.
you step, you're wet, and you're yaddy yaddy. But anyways, so Jan goes back in, and she says, "There's water in here." I said, "No way in hell," because I was thinking, all right, maybe the caulking's going on in the shower, right? So
Yep.
that was one of my goals because Jan had taken in a shower earlier the other day
Yep.
and before the water, but when she got out, there was no water there because I had gone in afterwards. And trust me, I'm a very observant person.
Oh, I imagine.
So this one I looked, and now this was very, very clear. Now, it was a lot of water. So it was not like it was a little water. It was a lot of water.
Really?
Yes. And you can see it's originated in the middle of the floor and, it traveled because it's in a 100-year-old hose.
Sure.
It's not level.
Not exactly level. No.
Yeah, exactly. So you could see it travel and then it stopped. So it came from nowhere and ended up nowhere. And now I look, and I'm looking up, and I'm saying, okay, so I check the ceiling. I don't see any spots or anything. I check all around the molding on top around the shower because I have it all boxed in very nicely.
Yep.
And like a clone, the old Victorian molding, it's got the lines in it and stuff like that. And the big square things they have on each end.
Yes.
Yeah. So I ran my hand over the top of that. No water at all. Ceiling's dry as a thing. Still no water. Mm-hmm. So 3 days in a row, this water appeared out of nowhere. And we're not talking like a little bit of water. It was a lot of water. Mm-hmm. So finally I said, you know what?
And it was water, right? It wasn't a cat or anything.
No, that's the first thing. Trust me, I have a cat, so I absolutely know it.
Yeah.
This cat must have been a camel if it was a cat. No, it's not. Trust me, my cat's old. She just doesn't have that much in her anyways.
Yeah, I got you.
And I've cleaned up that before anyways.
Yep.
But anyways, so, I have no clue. So I'm intrigued. Okay, do I have a water sprite? Because we had a water sprite in Methuen back in the 60s or 70s, I forget. And then that's something I got to investigate too. Check that out. Or
that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
a water sprite.
Right. It could be very annoying. Or was it a poltergeist? Because poltergeists also do water. Now, oddly enough, I had investigated a poltergeist case just recently. Mm-hmm.
So maybe you brought something home with you?
About a month.
Yeah.
So, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe something happened there, whatever. So I'm intrigued and curious, too, because I want to know where the hell's this water's coming from. So I said, finally, Gian's getting a little freaky, so I said, you know what? It ain't happening. So Leslie says hi. Tom says hi.
Yes.
Hi. So, anyways.
Hi, Leslie.
So Leslie, in fact, investigated the poltergeist case with me as well, So I'm worrying. Okay, I'm not worrying. I'm thinking, okay, is this poltergeist? Is this water sprite? Where it is? If it's a water sprite, that's kind of cool. I'm like intrigued by it now.
Yeah, well, in a way.
No, in a way. I don't want any damage because I got enough problems with an old house, as you know.
Yes.
Yes, old houses always have problems. So I said, hell with it. You know what? So I went and I got my rosaries, did the St. Michael's prayer, gave it a little spread of Van Helsing Special Blend, and that was it. And this has been 3 days since, no water.
Gone? Yep.
So I am relieved, yet strangely disappointed.
Yeah, because you want to know what's going on.
I know. It's like when I had the old hag syndrome or the sleep paralysis. That was so intriguing, and I wanted it to last so long, and I tried to prolong it, but I couldn't because I understood what it was. But, this is...
So my girlfriend had an episode of sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Over the weekend.
Did you witness it?
I didn't witness it.
Oh, bummer.
No, she talked about it, and there was a figure type of thing she was talking about.
Yep.
So her and her daughter cleansed the room, and apparently that's gone.
Yeah.
Burned some sage, did some other things, left some stuff on the windows, and I don't know what.
Alert, it's going to be going anyway.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because it's just a condition. It's not. Oh. It's not a real thing. It's not like you got ghosts.
I don't know. They claim.
They
claim there's stuff going on in the house
because they don't understand it. That's the problem.
No, there was a sleep paralysis, but there was something else going on, and
well, I don't know what something else is, so I can't really say. There's also hysteria. There's also, because if you get something you don't know how to deal with, then you get a little afraid, you get whatever, and then your little imagination goes, and, Yeah, part of the paralysis is seeing a figure, by the way.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Or a presence, one or the other. It varies on
Does
on
the
cases.
paralysis generate the figure, or does the figure generate the paralysis? Or?
Do you know what the sleep paralysis or hag syndrome is?
You're awake,
You're right.
quote unquote awake, but you can't move.
You're right in between, really.
Yeah.
You're awakening, I guess is the awakening.
Awakening, yes.
And so your body is still in its sleep paralysis state where
Right.
it's can't move. It's not supposed to move.
So don't hurt yourself when you sleep.
Your memories from your dream state also can carry over because you're right in that thing.
I
Yeah,
see.
so you
Yeah.
can.
Yep.
It's an intriguing thing. I had the same thing. I had a presence in the room and everything. So at first when I was like, oh, what? And it was like I realized what it was.
Does this
going on.
reoccur on you, or did you have just an episode
once
of
in
it?
my entire life.
Once in your entire life.
My entire life,
Yeah.
which I was thrilled, by the way. So,
Yeah.
But no, people do have it more than once. But whatever. Hey, if it worked for her, that's fine. But you can even feel like
Well, I often feel like that's part of it. Like you do the ceremony, you do the ritual, and you change your mind state about it. And,
Oh, it's like everything else. I mean, you as a sports player know the same thing. You've
Sure.
got your good luck charm, and you got a good luck charm, or you don't have your good luck charm,
Right.
and then so
Yep.
it's part of the thing.
Yep, absolutely.
All
Or
right.
the old, from a baseball standpoint, we talk about it all the time. There's the old moving the pitcher on the rubber. Like a pitcher struggling, and the pitching coach comes, why don't you move 6 inches to the right on the rubber?
Yeah.
Which is total placebo, but it just resets the mind.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Gets them thinking about something else.
Leslie's got something here. What do we got here, Lou? You read better than I do.
Did you ever think, Leslie Martin says, did you ever think that maybe since you are in between sleep and awake states, that maybe you connect with something from the other side? Just a question.
Connect to something on the other side.
Yeah, maybe your antenna's up more, and that's a good opportunity to connect with the other side.
Anything's possible.
And yeah,
I would doubt it.
she was convinced. I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure she was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, most people would do it. I mean, you listen to a lot of people. You investigate hauntings, and they have this experience. They'll tell you, yeah, it was an experience, and it goes from there. Where anything that happens in the house is connected to the spirit, evil spirits that's there, or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't find my car keys. Oh my God! You maybe just misplaced them.
Yep.
Oh, then again,
Yeah.
maybe it's something else.
Maybe
We don't
you get-
know.
maybe
That's
you
the
get
problem.
poltergeist.
That's why you have people investigate to find out if it's real or not. But people, the problem is in investigating is people have mindsets when you go in.
Yeah.
All right. So that's dealing with private residence is not a fun thing. I don't love it. But it's, oh God, we're getting all kinds of crap now. I don't love it, but it's strange because people come in, for instance, somebody come in, oh, you don't do it like they do on TV, because they've already looked at the mindset of the TV guy, Zach, or whoever they're watching. And so they expect you to do it this way, or they've read this, or they've read that.
Yes, exactly.
And that's all in their head, and that's contributed to their mindset.
Well, that comes from somewhere. It comes from the experience of others.
Yeah.
And I suggested that they do the cleansing, and I was half jokingly, but I said just cleanse the room because
If
it's
it
not
makes
like
you feel good, I did, right?
it's not like her daughter hasn't fired up sage in the house before.
Yeah.
Go do it again.
Yeah.
You
right.
know?
I mean, didn't I do that?
Yeah.
Right. Van Helsing spray, St. Michael spray. Yeah.
Yep.
So I did my little ritual. And
It was
there
to
you
the
go.
point, she was convinced to the point where we dug out everything that was under the bed. Because she goes, what have you gotten under the bed? Like she was thinking if
she was
something
thinking
was
something's haunted?
attached to something.
I know a good ghost hunter if you ever need one. Remember that.
And I said, I don't think anything. I mean, all I get is a couple of computer monitors, and I didn't have much down there, But we went through everything under the bed, and it didn't seem to be any suspects.
So I see Tom knows about the water spout in Methuen.
Yeah, the water spout house in Methuen has been torn down.
Yeah, I know
The
that.
house in Lawrence is still standing.
Yeah. What about the body experience? Like what?
What about the out-of-body experience like the movie Insidious?
Oh, God, no. No, Hollywood, I don't want to compare anything to. Sorry, John. No. I'm not going to compare it. First of all, I didn't see Insidious, so I can't comment.
Did anything in your sleep paralysis incident, did anything feel like an out-of-body experience? Did you feel you were independent of your body?
No.
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 No, you knew you were.
I know
you were
about
in your body and very.
I
aware
know
that
about
you were-
out-of-body experiences. Yes,
Yeah.
that's yeah. It's
You've had a near death.
yes, and
Yeah.
other things as well.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. Thanks for the information. Tom, the house in Methuen has been torn down, and Lawrence is still standing. Yeah. So we've talked about that in the show before, which is intriguing. But anyway,
My approach to the whole thing that happened at the house was not to try to solve it. It's just, I mean, not to try to figure out what it was.
are you kidding me?
No, I mean,
You're not curious?
I'm curious, but what I was most concerned about is
I thought you were like me.
be comfortable. No, I'm curious, but ultimately, what can you do? What are you going to do? Set a trap for the guy? What do you...
Yes, you get one of those things with the lights in it.
Ultimately, I wanted them to be comfortable, so like,
Yeah.
do whatever you have to
Which
do to
is
be
what I
comfortable.
did mine, because Jan
Yeah.
was uncomfortable. She wasn't
Right.
feeling happy. So, anyway. All right.
I mean,
so
maybe I sleep too soundly. I don't know. I haven't had these experiences yet.
I've only had one in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember my dreams, too, which is intriguing.
I have a couple times lately. I used to a lot, not so much lately, but a couple times lately, I've had some dreams, man, and
Yeah.
I remembered them.
I remember them very well.
But I think that's melatonin based. I think melatonin really sparks up your dreams.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things that spark up dreams,
Mm-hmm.
like eating before bed.
That too. Yeah.
It does, really, believe it or not.
So Leslie, comment. What do you think? What do you think of my experience? Because again, I've got on my windowsills in the bedroom now. I've got some remnants or whatever it is they did. I wasn't involved in the ceremony.
Didn't smoke any of the fancy wacky tobacco.
No, none of that. I don't know, but
I have no comment. I commented on it, and that, it.
no, I was
it's
asking
possible.
Leslie what she thought about it.
Oh, Leslie. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But they did the ceremony and left some stuff around. They said, I'll clean the stuff off the windowsills in a few days. So
Yeah,
there was
thanks.
some stuff on.
Thanks for that.
That's fine.
How come you don't have Van Helsing spray in there? You'd be.
How come you've never
done.
brought me some Van Helsing spray? That would be
Because it's
that would have
hard to
been
come
useful.
by. Leslie's the one that has it. I don't have any.
That would have been useful. I could have handed her some
You could
Van Helsing
You could
spray.
either get it from Circles of Wisdom, or you can get it from Positively Brilliant Candles on Estee. Those are the only two places you get it. I don't have it.
Yeah.
It's Leslie's the one that does all the work on it, and
The daughter has talked about a couple spirit in the house. A couple.
oh, here we go.
It was spirit or sleep paralysis, sagging in crystals can't. Saging in crystals can't hurt.
Saying.
Okay, see, I thought I read it wrong.
No, I saw it too.
I was blaming myself for that one.
Yeah, okay. Well, she is a woman. She knows about sagging.
Crystals? See, I hadn't thought of crystals. They got a bunch of crystals. I'll tell them to bring some in.
Be careful which ones you bring in.
Yeah, Leslie, which crystals should I
'Cause-
suggest they bring in?
You bring some, and it actually enhances the experience.
Oh, really?
Autocorrect. Yeah, sure it was. Yeah, blame it. Everybody blames it on autocorrect. Take responsibility. Don't be a freaking Democrat.
I don't know. Autocorrect's been brutal for me lately. So
Is it really?
yeah.
Okay. So over the weekend,
So, what's your final take on
moving on.
the water?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
And this is interesting.
Insufficient data.
Yeah, and this is interesting because again, you've worked on that house so much. You know everything that's going on. You're not like a typical homeowner who doesn't know the mechanics
No.
of the house.
It doesn't know. Yeah, I built that whole freaking thing.
And you'd eliminate roof leaks because roof leaks leave marks on the ceiling.
Exactly.
and,
I went up there too and cleaned it and everything else. So
Yeah.
But she says citrine and
selenite.
selenite. If you use selenite, it has to be cleansed though.
Okay.
After you use it, just to let you know. And you can put it in the sun. That works. There are other methods. You have to be careful. A lot of people put it in water and stuff, and certain minerals dissolve in water. Not a good thing.
They'll call Roxy and everything will be fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Over the weekend, I watched my occult movie. I haven't watched one for a long time.
Yes.
And this probably was horrible. There's no other way to describe it. I was getting bored by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was called Hell Squad.
Hell Squad.
Hell Squad. Mm-hmm. So we had developed a neutron bomb that kills people but not buildings.
Okay. Yep.
So some Arab kidnaps the Turkish ambassador's son. And because... And of course, the government won't step in because they don't deal with terrorists, right?
Right.
They don't negotiate.
They don't negotiate with
They don't
terrorists.
negotiate.
Yeah.
So they told the ambassador, because he was connected and rich and everything else, that you get the formula for the neutron bomb or we kill your son. Or we send him back in pieces. So since the government couldn't do it, this guy who was CIA, I believe, or something, went to Las Vegas and got a bunch of chorus girls. Took them to the desert and trained them for 10 days and became experts.
He constructed a black ops squad out of Las Vegas chorus girls.
Las Vegas chorus girls.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So they, so they did that, and clothes was optional.
Okay, what era are we talking? 80s, 70s?
Oh God, I can't tell. It's early. It's early 60s, 70s, I would say.
See,
look, you can look in the
60s?
Funkin' Wagon. Look up Hell Squad.
Yeah, God, yeah, I can look up
Look at Funkin' Waggle.
Right.
It'll tell you. But so they put this Hell Squad together. They send it to some country. I forget the name of it.
Forgot I had the internet.
You forgot. Well, don't let Al Gore hear you say that.
Oh, it's 1958. Is that possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
There was one in 86 and one in 58. Do you think it's 86 or 58?
What does it say for 58?
Well, let's see. 58 American World War II film produced by... Oh, no.
No, I ain't it.
So it's
Nope,
19...
ain't it.
No, it's Hell Squad.
So it's 80s?
86.
86, okay.
Or the full movie is available, too.
Yeah, it's available on Tubby for those who are interested.
Let me see if I can show this first.
So they send them to some Arab country, which name escapes me. This is a surprise. Mm-hmm. And they get, of course, they all stay in this one hotel room, and they get a giant hot tub. And because water's scarce in the country, they all have to take the hot tub together.
Okay.
And then they get a call every time they're in the hot tub on the telephone, which is in the other room. So
They have to keep getting in and out of the hot
they
tub?
have to get in and out of the hot tub to get their instructions to rescue the son, because they don't know where he is. So they go out, and they are just like totally the best commandos in the world, because they have had 10 days training, which, by the way, basically included walking through an obstacle course, climbing over a wall, so you can imagine that, and shooting a gun. So that they were all experts after that.
So there's a bunch of chorus girls in a hot tub, and you got bored.
You can only...
Yeah.
I guess. So every day they went out on a mission, they were able to drive tanks and stuff, and so they would capture tanks, drive it, blow up stuff. So, but it never found the sun. So eventually they found a sun in... I'm giving you the whole story, by the way. Do you want me to not spoil it?
No, by all means.
Okay, you're not going to probably watch it. So
I'm going to watch it, but I don't know. I don't know if the plot is all that necessary.
So their cover was they were dancers for this cafe, where the American who owned it, by the way, insulted all the people in English because they didn't speak English. So he would call them, camel jockeys and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then of course all the Arabs would speak in Arab. It'd insult him, and he wouldn't know it either. So neither side knew they were getting the insult. It's a horrible movie. And they all had uniforms, right? They had the Hell Squad uniforms. Every one of them had corporal stripes on, chevrons on their shoulder.
I'm seeing it. I'm trying to get a good website so I can
get a picture for it.
Get this up.
So, anyways, but then they go to a castle and they finally rescue the guy. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But it got to be. Honestly, it got boring after a while.
There are YouTubes, but I'm a little nervous.
And they played the music like it was like A-Team music. Doom, doom, doom. Oh, back to sleep paralysis.
Tom says sleep paralysis cases are up and could be COVID started. I've been in communication with many teams in New England.
Yeah. Sleep paralysis has always been around. Cases is depending on what's people telling or how much information they have. Then they would think, I'm not. Sleep paralysis is a condition.
Working on trying to get a image of. Thanks,
Tom. Anyway,
Hell Squad up.
Still working on it. I got to move on because that's all I got on Health Squad.
Hang on, just one shot here.
Oh, except for the very end. You want me to give away the ending?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay. So the very end, the Turkish ambassador who was having an affair with his secretary, right?
Yes.
We'd go out on a date every Tuesday. They get in there, and they get paid $25,000 for doing this, by the way, each of them. And
It's only fair.
yeah. So, anyways, they wanted to know. Oh God, they wanted to know why they knew every move that they were doing. So, as it turns out, the secretary was a man, an Arab man. They pull a mask off of her, and she's.
Oh, no.
That's the end of the show. I spoiled it. Too bad. There they are, my Hell Squad.
So how bored could you get? You got to the end of the movie.
Trust me, if I start investing some time in this thing, I'm going to finish it.
I'm that way, too.
Because,
It's a curse.
you know, I've got some content for the show, so it wasn't a total waste. Otherwise, it would have been a total waste.
I hate that. It's a curse. You get me into a movie, and it's like oftentimes people around me, they suck me into these movies I don't want to watch, and then they leave, right? And it's like I gotta find out what happened in the movie, even though I'm not enjoying the movie. I don't like the movie, but I gotta finish the damn movie. More of my OCD going.
I saw Jan and I watched a good movie over the weekend. Very well done movie about the Enigma in World War II.
Oh yeah.
And the guy who invented the machine that deciphered it, and he was gay, but
Lived in Newburyport for a time.
no,
Yes.
no,
No. Okay.
no. This guy was a British citizen, and he was actually, after the war was over and everything else, he was arrested for homosexuality and forced to go into treatment. They give you drugs so you wouldn't have the urges.
Yep.
And he committed suicide a year after.
Yeah.
The Queen just pardoned him and gave him a medal a few years back.
Wonder what I ran into then, because Newburyport every year in the Yankee Homecoming, which I didn't have last year, has a thing called If This House Could Talk, and homeowners put out what they know about the history of the house.
Yeah.
And past residents.
What's the guy's
and stuff
name?
Like
I can
that.
tell you.
There was something about the Enigma machine. I don't know. There's like 100.
Yeah, there's something about the Enigma machine. Yeah.
He was involved in the decoding of the Enigma machine.
Could have been. He wasn't the guy that, I mean, the characters were great in it. They were Tom from Downton Abbey and also the suitor from Downton Abbey from Mary. So there's two top notch. And the lead guy was Cumberbatch.
Patrick. Yeah, that guy.
Cumberbatch. Cumberbatch, yeah, thanks. So he was the lead guy. It was a good, a very good movie. It was not like a slam bam action one, but it was intriguing. And Jan and I both watched it and both liked it. So there you go. Anyways, all right. So we took care of Hell Squad, and we can move on.
Yes.
To our next thing. And speaking of World War II, the creepy coincidence of the Daily Double.
The Daily Devil.
Double.
Okay.
Pardon my English. All right. So you're probably wondering what the hell that is.
I inferred from context, so that was on me.
All right.
You said it well. I just.
Warring birthday. See advertisement on page 86. Monarch Publishing. No, this is an ad. If you dig deep enough into a rabbit hole of paranormal experiences, you'll eventually run into numerology.
Yes.
Numerologists find meanings in odd numery. Numery is a word?
Numery is a word? I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. Odd numeric coincidences. Okay. Much better.
Yeah.
Okay. My glasses are a little fuzzy here. That seriously strain credibility. But in the case of the Daily Devil, the numbers lined up just a little too perfectly to be dismissed out of hand. I should have you read this, by the way. So much better than I am.
Well, you're going to have to...
Give you the thing?
Either email it over to me or... what's the site?
Can you type in?
Yeah.
Okay. It is IO9.
IO9?
IO9 point GIZMODO.com.
Gizmodo.
The weirdest unsolved mysteries of World War and that should be there. If you find it, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep reading.
Keep going.
All right, so they have an advertisement here, or a cartoon or something that shows the that thing I talked about, but it also shows a bunch of Germans throwing dice. We hope you never have to spend a long winter's night in an air raid shelter, but we're just thinking it's only common sense to be prepared. If you're not too busy between now and Christmas, why not sit down and plan a list of things to do? List of things you want to have on hand. Canned goods, of course, and candles, steno, bottled water, sugar, coffee, tea, brandy, plenty of cigarettes, sweaters, blankets, books, magazines, vitamins, capsules, and though it's no time to be really thinking of what's fashionable, we bet that the most of your friends will remember, to include, I gotta move it. Did you find that?
To include those intriguing dice and chips, which make Chicago's favorite game, the Deadly Double.
There you go. Thank you.
A few weeks before the Pearl Harbor attack, a pair of strange ads appeared in the New Yorker. That was the copy from one of the ads in the New Yorker. It read, "We hope you never have to spend a long winter's night in an air raid shelter, but we're just thinking it's only common sense to be prepared."
All that.
Okay.
And make sure you bring your cards. Your dice.
They seem to be advertising a dice game called the Deadly Double. One of these ads showed a pair of dice with the characters 0, 5, 7, XX, 24, and 12 on the visible faces. Above were warnings of a variety of languages: Octun, warning, alert,
Alerte.
alerte. The other, is that French?
I think it's Spanish, right?
Okay. The other ad showed people in a bunker and explained that the dice game was an essential air raid survival gear. The company logo was suspiciously Germanic-looking double eagle. The ads had a somewhat strange design, but only in retrospect did they appear to contain a coded message. The numbers could allude to the date of the Pearl Harbor attack, 12/7, and the other numbers representing codes to be deciphered by sleeper agents in the U.S. The Deadly Double itself was thought to refer to the twin threats of Germany and Japan. Like many mysteries, retelling of the story emphasizes the unknown and leave out crucial facts. The 0 and the 5 are sometimes thought to foretell the exact time of the attack, but the first aircraft opened fire on Pearl Harbor at 7:48 a.m. local time. Books on mysterious events like to leave this story unresolved, although the identity of the ad's creator remains unknown to this day. In truth, it was traced to a game company in Chicago that made a dice game called the Deadly Double. Their war-themed ad might seem like poor taste today, but the numbers on the dice matching the date of Pearl Harbor were pure coincidence. Still, it's weird enough that the FBI got involved. Well, that makes... I don't see any...
What?
On the ad that they show here, I don't see any numbers like on the dice.
Yeah, you got to go up to the next one.
Oh, you got to go up to...
Go up. See it? Monarch Publishing. Alerte.
Oh, yeah,
See advertising in 86.
Yep. Oh, it's... Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Interesting. What an interesting ad thing. They show you one ad to send you to another page in there to look at another ad. It's kind of odd.
Well, no, it's kind of like my newsletter. If you don't get my newsletter, you should definitely sign up for my newsletter. Last month we looked at the creepy side of Valentine, but it's always something. And anyways, so for instance, we have the trivia, and the answers to the trivia are on the bottom of the page. So makes you go.
Well, yeah, that's a game. This is an advertising run that refers you to an ad that refers you to another ad.
Well, how many times you read a story and then continue on page 686?
Yeah, well, again, that's a
story. So this is what it is. It's an advertising jump.
Still interesting. In retrospect, though, it does look like a coded message.
Doesn't it really?
Yeah.
And trust me, they did that stuff.
How else? Yeah. I mean, that would be a great way to communicate with a bunch of agents, right? In the United States or in a particular area?
Yeah.
Buy out an ad? Although it's not very subtle.
Well,
I mean, there aren't any dice with double X on them.
Maybe there isn't. You're not around at that time, right?
Yeah, true.
Right? So, I mean, I love these weird stuff. To me, it's strange mysteries is the coolest thing. Of course, we had the Foo Fighters, which are pretty common. You know.
Good band, too. I love World War II for a number of different things. First of all, how inventive it made everybody here in the United States and possibly worldwide. But the other thing about World War II that fascinates me so much is how many times the outcome and the course of the war turned on a dime. Just turned on the smallest events. The World War II is the biggest example of the butterfly effect. I mean, in terms of, just look at Normandy when they were talking about the waves, the weather, and how things could have changed drastically if a front had moved through a couple hours earlier or a couple hours later.
You want to talk about the butterfly effect? If we hadn't entered World War I, World War II probably would have never happened.
Yeah,
it's a true story.
That makes sense
when you think about it.
Yep.
Because we tilted the balance. They were pretty much in a stalemate at that time. And they were pretty getting fed up, too, because they had gone on for years. So more than likely, they would have called a truce and redid it. And the Treaty of Versailles, which is the direct result of World War II, not Versailles, is it Versailles?
Yeah.
Whatever they did in that car, because they crippled Germany so much that they forced them into a Second World War.
I'll take that even further. Without World War II, what would the Middle East look like?
I know. That's right. How we would set up.
Yeah.
They would cut up those countries.
The invention, the setting up of Israel.
Yeah.
Has changed the path of history. But what men were doing in World War II, there were guys who went to Normandy before the attack, that heavily fortified beach at night, to test the soil, to test the density of the beach sand, to see if they could get tanks on there. Yeah. But it's just incredible what men were doing. And here we have, these days when we do wage war and we have technology, we have drones, we have things like that. There's nothing like that in World War II. Guys went and actually did reconnaissance, and they did amazing things.
We did have reconnaissance, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I said, there were guys who went to the...
No, besides that, we did have aerial reconnaissance and stuff. They have aerial reconnaissance in World War I.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But, people physically went and did it as opposed to... they flew over, but as opposed to a satellite or...
Right, yeah. Okay. The other thing that's intriguing, too, is that we allowed... probably we, too, but the English especially allowed people to die for the greater cause. For instance, when they broke the Enigma machine, broke the Enigma code, they knew where bombing raids were stuff, but they couldn't stop them because if they did, they know the code was broken.
Right.
The interesting thing is they use probability to figure out how many intercepted attacks they could get away with as coincidence versus the Germans discovering.
So they sat down and tried to figure out what they could respond to and what they couldn't.
Exactly.
So that
they actually allowed civilians, women and children as well, to die for the greater cause, which is the end of the war. Yeah. It's a horrible thing, but that's the way it was.
Because there would have been no advantage to breaking the Enigma machine if the Germans found out they had broken it.
Because they could just change it.
Right.
It was. I was amazed the probability of. It's like 1 billion. Like 100 billion. Because they changed at midnight every day. They changed the code.
Yeah.
So they had up until midnight to break that code, and all their work was useless if it wasn't.
Yeah, and again, no computers, right?
This guy built the first big computer that do that. It was this machine that was designed specifically for decoding that. So yeah, it was an interesting movie. It's called the Imitation Game or something like that. It was good. Good quality made movie. Other stars in it as well. So, anyways, I'm
just reading the Snopes response to the deadly double Pearl Harbor mystery.
Okay, you got something on that?
I'm just trying to read through it to see what's pertinent material. Digging deeper, we discovered that the mystery of the prophetic dice game had actually been solved decades earlier. In May of 1942, 5 months after the Pearl Harbor, when the Los Angeles Times columnist Chapin Hill tracked Mr. Craig down and quizzed him about the advertisement.
Of course, he's going to say, "Oh, what are you talking about?"
I don't know if this must be a quote. Propaganda. Oh, this is from the
Times.
The Times, yeah. Propaganda develops some odd reactions. It's a two-edged sword that may turn unexpectedly. An interesting example is the story of what happened to the promoters of a new game, which was put on the market last fall with the fanfare of national advertising. One of these advertisements appeared in a New Yorker magazine on November 22nd. It had the words alerte and warning and were used, and the unpleasant possibility was suggested of a long winter night spent in an air raid shelter. 2 weeks later came Pearl Harbor, following which for some inexplicable reason, a lot of people turned back to the out-of-date issue of the magazine, apparently obsessed with the idea that the advertisement contained a prophecy of the tragedy in the Pacific. Letters and calls and telegrams in profusion started coming into the office of the company. The editors of the magazine, and from would-be J. Edgar Hoovers and amateur G-men, demanding an explanation of what they described as a tip-off to all loyal Japs in the United States and its possessions, to make arrangements for protection from a surprise attack. If these seem far-fetched, Roger Paul Craig, an officer of the company, tells us, you should see the complicated evidence that was marshaled to show the numbers on the dice game, which the numbers on the dice which the game is played clearly announce the date of the upcoming attack, 12/7. It goes on and on here.
Okay, we don't want to get to it.
Yeah.
So speaking about Pearl Harbor, there are plenty of stories of ghost planes and strange sightings in the skies around in World War II, like the Foo Fighters and some of the other. But perhaps the most astonishing is the Pearl Harbor ghost plane. On December 8th, 1942, nearly a year to the day after the attack on Pearl Harbor, an unidentified plane was picked up on radar heading towards Pearl Harbor from the direction of... Yes?
Japan.
You got it.
Yeah.
When U.S. planes were sent to investigate, they saw the mysterious plane, a Curtiss P-40 Warhawk, the kind that was used by the American forces in defense of Pearl Harbor, but not used since. They said that the plane was riddled with bullet holes and that the pilot could be seen inside, bloody and slumped over the cockpit. Though he is said to have waved briefly at other planes. So he was bloodied and slumped over.
Yeah.
Just before the P-40 crash landed, he waved to him just before it crash landed. When the search teams explored the wreckage, however, they found no body and no indication of a pilot, simply a diary which claimed the plane had flown from Mindanao, an island some 1,300
miles
away.
Seems like out of range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a year later. This plane shows up. People see a cockpit, whether they waved to him or not. They definitely saw a guy in there bloodied and thing. It crash landed, which means the plane existed. And yet there was no pilot in the wreckage. Just a diary saying the plane came 1,300 miles away.
Odd.
Could this be a time slip?
The pilot wouldn't have made the time slip?
Do we know all the...
Yeah. The plane makes it, but the pilot doesn't make it?
Maybe he went up to heaven.
There's a piece of World War II ghost planes in that Gizmodo article, too.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's not hard to find reports of World War II ghost planes. Unfortunately, it's quite hard to find documented sources, these ghostly tales. The fact is, they're all pretty much folk tales, take many forms, but there are two basic types. First, you have the post-war stories about people encountering planes from the past. Typically, you have a young couple out for a country stroll in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. They hear an odd sound and turn around to see a prop-driven vintage warplane cruising along at low altitude, or perhaps an entire flight of them. Some of these stories are heavily embellished. The planes disappear into thin air. The sighting was a harbinger of a tragic plane crash that happened shortly after. The ghost pilots would wave sadly to the witnesses as they passed. The stories might incorporate speculation about time slips. The second is more interesting. They are ghost sightings that happened during the war. In its most common form, the story revolves around a flight of planes that left for a dangerous mission. Later, all the planes returned and were accounted for except one. Everyone watches the sky hoping they made it out alive, but no plane appears on the horizon. Then, hours later, a drone of radial engine sounds in the distance. A plane is spotted. Could it be their missing comrades? But no, they would have to run out of fuel hours ago. Still, there it is, heavily damaged, limping along towards the airfield. It makes the ragged landing, and fellow airmen rush to the scene. Inside the plane, they find nothing. Not a soul, not a corpse, and the fuel tanks are bone dry. There are variations. Sometimes the crew is on board but dead. Sometimes the plane is so badly damaged there's no physical way it could have flown. There's a story that a U.S. plane appeared over California hours after Pearl Harbor attack, smoking and sputtering. Witnesses could see the pilot on board, but when the plane crashed, the wreckage was empty. That's the one you referenced. Yeah.
There's a lot of cool ones.
Yeah.
So you ever hear of the DGluck?
No.
That's a pretty cool thing. During World War II, the Nazi propaganda popularized the idea of number of Wunderwaffe, or miracle weapons, that was supposed to help Germany win the war. Most of them were prototypes or remained on the thing. And they had some pretty interesting shit, too, by the way.
Oh, is this that machine-looking thing?
It's basically a ball.
Like something
bell.
out of Doctor Who?
In the year 2000, Polish journalist Igor Witkowski described a particularly chilling Wunderwaffe known as the DGluck, or the bell. The bell-shaped weapon was said to be roughly 12 foot tall and contained two rotating cylinders filled with a metallic liquid known as Cerium-525. When activated, the terrifying weapon was supposedly to create a zone of effect around itself, which would cause blood to coagulate inside the body and plants to decompose. Many of the scientists who worked on the DGluck were said to have died while testing it. Though the weapon has never been used, depending on who you believe, it may never actually existed at all. There's a lot more, and this is actually the building. I was watching a documentary on, basically the leftovers from World War II, and they found the building. They actually had the building on there, which was pretty cool.
Do you think this is the origin of the end of Indiana Jones? Like they found the bell and it's in a box in a warehouse somewhere in the United States?
Yeah, kind of like that. Oh, there's actually a story that one of the UFO sightings in the United States, they believed it was a DGluck, that it had materialized, that it actually was a time machine.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's more on that.
Wait a second. The UFO get it from the Germans, or the Germans get it from the UFO? Or?
No.
Oh.
The UFO sightings are believed to be one of the, not all of them, but one in particular one I believe was in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure, that they described the basically the DGluck. It was very similar to that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
And one of the theories is that one of the things they were working on was anti-gravity or time travel. So it's possible that it time travel to the future, or that it's in the secret Nazi base in Antarctica.
I love secret Nazi bases.
I do too, especially in Antarctica or Arctica, depending on what you want.
Or the dark side of the moon.
Ooh, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
You won't watch that. You got bored with it.
I did get bored with that.
Iron Sky is an awesome movie.
Is it? Yeah.
Did you get into it? Oh,
No, I'll go back to
the
it.
Sarah Palin.
I'll give it another
The
shot.
Sarah Palin president is just too much. I mean, it's just so cool. Anyway, I like it anyway.
Here we are, so many years later, the Nazis are still entertaining us.
I'll tell you, they're the greatest villains in history.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at, you heard what happened to the poor I'm going to love this because I mentioned Nazis, bring it up, and I wanted to bring it up before. You ever watch the Mandolin or Mandalorian or whatever it is on
Mandalorian?
Disney? Yeah.
I watched the first episode and haven't been back. But,
Okay, all right. So
yeah.
we've watched the whole series. I enjoy Star Wars. So one of the
I do too,
one of the
but-
badass characters in it is a woman, like special forces that used to be for the rebels, and she was fired from the show.
She got canceled.
Yes, because she compared what was going on today to the Nazis. You can't even mention the word Nazi, by the way. That's the problem. She was basically, if you read a Scout, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, is that she was saying that it wasn't really, in the beginning, the government that attacked and killed the Jews in the streets. It was the people, because the government had whipped them into a frenzy to do this. So they supported it. And we're talking about women and attacking and kids and everything else, throwing bricks and everything else. And that's what it was.
Right.
The Jews became focus for all the problems in Germany at that time. So that's what she was comparing about, because of what happens now. Because if you say something today, that's not PC, you get screwed.
Right.
So that's what she was comparing to, and she got fired for that. But so screw them.
Ridiculous.
I mean, the word Nazi you can't say. It's very simple. You look what happened to Kurt Schilling, right?
No, that's different. That's a different. First of all, you can say Nazi. They called.
No, you can't.
They called Trump Nazi
that's okay.
For 4
That's
years.
different. That's different. That's
so
different.
you can. It's not about Nazis. It's about who you use it against.
Yeah.
Schilling was supposed to be a Nazi fan because he collected World War II memorabilia.
All World War II. He collected both sides. I have World War II memorabilia. I have some Nazi items.
Yep.
I have Nazi coins. I have Nazi art. Well, actually, my son has them now. But
perfectly. There's nothing.
It's history.
It's
what the frick's the matter with you, right?
Yeah.
And you say what you want, but damn, the Nazi uniforms were nice.
Yeah.
They were really sharp.
If you're a World War II buff,
and this has got nothing to do with the philosophy about it. It's just about visual observation. And you say, "Oh, you can't say that." Well, that's not true. I'm not condoning Nazism or anything else. I'm just said that their freaking uniforms look pretty sharp.
Uniform was nice.
Yeah, it was, and and they are the ultra villains in every movie you want. I mean,
I might have told you this before. I went to an antique store in the Cape. I want to say it was Hyannis, but I'm not sure. Antique store at the Cape, and they had a dinnerware set that was China, and it had like gold leaf around the edges of it and a gold leaf swastika in the middle of it. All the plates, all the cups, stuff like that. They weren't on the outside of the cups like a coffee mug. They were on the inside. But it was like this whole Nazi place setting, and it wasn't the dish set. It wasn't like everyday Nazis, It was. This came from the higher ups in the Nazi party. I mean, this was a pretty significant set of dinnerware.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating, and it's like, I don't know if you'd want to own it. It was just weird. I mean, you think about, you wonder about where that was.
See, I would want to own it because I own haunted items. I mean, things that associate. I mean,
I don't think there's anything attached to it other than where would you ever use it?
No. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's a piece of history. It's like a collection. It's like a museum. What the freak is a museum, right? It's a private collection. Is a museum. It really is.
And again, this wasn't an everyday family set. This was a high-end, elite type of set. So you just wonder, where was this used? What's the history behind this? Who ate off these plates?
Exactly.
That type of thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's history. They want to bury history nowadays, which is really a big problem, unfortunately.
But they want to rewrite it.
Yeah, rewrite it, bury it. Yeah, change it.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. We're running out of time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do we get time-wise?
2:40.
We need some kind of marker to let us know when we're out at a certain time.
Well, our out is 90 seconds, and you get plenty of time. So when you hear the heartbeat, that's when we're close.
Thanks. Actually, I designed those for it. There's the break and the it's designed. I think it's a minute or something in the heartbeat. We're in the heartbeat already?
Yep.
Oh, damn. Anyways, we want to thank everyone for listening to us, and we hope we didn't offend anyone, but if we did, get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, you were listening to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition. All thoughts on this of this show are strictly for entertainment purposes.
Entertainment purposes, that's right.
And tune in next week. By the way, you know Old Time Radio, right?
What?
Old Time Radio?
What about it?
You know about the beginnings, right?
Yep.
I've got something wicked cool.
Oh.
From the beginning of Old Time Radio that I'm going to bring in next week.
Oh, excellent.
And we'll talk about it. But anyways, we want to thank our Patreons, right?
Yep.
Yeah, without them, we wouldn't have this show. And Circles of Wisdom, 386 Merrimack Street, Methuen, Massachusetts. And the Gallant Messenger Family, Law Group 15 High Street in North Andover, Massachusetts. Stay tuned for whatever's up next. Good night. God bless.
From ghoulies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.